Welcome back. Same outfit. It's almost like I'm starting this video just after ending the last one. Complete coincidence though. I've got the screen and button harnesses cleaned up with cable lacing, which you would have seen in the last video. Now what I'm going to do is put lids on this proper, just to close them up. They're going to be just simple screws. I'm not even putting the machine threads in them because they're not going to live long enough. To make sure I don't drill into the batteries, when I drill my pilot holes, I'm at 16 millimeters, which makes sense. So I'm going to go to 8 millimeters and lock that. So my first hole. Second hole. Now I'm probably going to put just one more screw in the center. 622, which is 311. There we go. Very carefully and very slowly. I'm going to put them in by hand just in the off chance I do hit something. Well, I mean, I would have drilled through a battery, so I guess it really doesn't matter. I should put one just on the other side of where these cables come out, just to help secure it. But before I do that, let me get the kitty quarter done. This is not the most aligned top in the world, but there you go. And I'm being very careful to go straight down so I go into the wall of the wood, because the batteries are right here. Oh, that's definitely not a big enough drill bit. I can see the plywood pulling apart. So now this won't shift around anymore. Okay, so this one here, if anything, I'm exaggerating right now, but I'm going to air like that so that it has no chance of going into the battery. I'm very low on time and I'm taking silly risks, and I'm not too terribly concerned about the appearance stage of the project. There you go. That's the engine bay battery completely finished. At least as completely finished as it's going to be for the trip home. Let me get the quarter berth battery out. I'm gonna put its top on. I'm not gonna make you watch that. It's the exact same thing again. And then we're gonna start hooking things up. I wanna be heading back to the boat in 48 hours. All right, I'll be back in a second. What I'm doing here is I'm just using a little block plane wherever the lid overhangs the body. I'm just cutting it down. This is mainly so it doesn't fetch on anything while I'm putting it in or lifting it out of the boat or moving things around. Break the edge a little. Okay, and that feels fine. That's the quarter berth done. Simulating how this is going to be on the quarter berth with the output facing to what would be the ship's port. This one's going to be the engine bay facing to starboard. All right, this is almost ready to connect. This is almost ready to connect. I need to get this mounted now. All right, I need to go downstairs and find 5 screws that are this size. I'll be right back. So same with the Quattro. This plate goes on like this, and then this hangs from it, and there's 2 more screws down there that lock it into place. I can put the first screw in the center where the Quattro used to be. It's only going to be here for 24 hours, if that. 48 hours, but it's a good habit to always be accurate. Being careful, at least, within reason, is your default. And one of these days, your accuracy is going to save you when you didn't think it would. All right. Yeah, the cross member I made for the Quattro is too high up for this one. So this is just free hanging, and that's just going to be the way it is. So that's mounted. The batteries are built and ready to go. It's about 10 o'clock, which is normally very early for me. But I've been working on this all day. I'm tired. I'm going to stop here. Well, I mean, that means nothing to you because next day, let's assemble this. So the first thing is to bring the 2 batteries up to here. I'm hoping the wires I have are long enough for that. When this goes on the boat, obviously, this will be on a bulkhead somewhere. I was looking for screens online and I couldn't find any readily available. When I get down to the boat, I expect I'm going to be pulling apart a lot of the old wiring, and I know there's some inline fuse holders. I even bought a couple fuse holders to repair what I thought was the problem for the depth sounder and whatnot, and it was completely unrelated, so I'm probably going to salvage those rather than spending more money on everything that's going to be temporary. I might also go to Bacon Sales and see if I can get a used Blue Sea block. We'll see. Oops. All right. Nothing. Make sure I've got no voltage. Nada. So the compact is turned off, so this will have no voltage. You can see the lovely little spark I had before. Shoot, I don't have a pre-charge resistor. Oh, how am I going to do the pre-charge resistor? I should have put the pre-charge resistor onto one of the main switches so I could just press it, probably the one by the engine bay. How can I do this? I have the original pre-charge resistor downstairs. Right back. All right, this is the original switch. This should go to here, and then here should go to the compact. I might have to re-terminate some wires though. I'll see what I have kicking around. I think, yeah, I could just drill that out again for the trip home, or I could cut it off and re-terminate it, and then I could mount this somewhere in the boat for the main connection to the compact. Let's see if I have any of these ring terminals left. I'm running so short of everything. It's not looking good. No, sir, it's not looking good. I think I'm out of luck. I could tear apart that battery that I've got the cable on the wrong side of and put this in its place. I don't need that for today. For today, I will just bypass this directly. I mean, this thing's falling apart anyway. It needs to be redone. I will just manually pre-charge that before I connect this. So that's going to stay off for now. Let's bring the negative wire up. It's the wrong size as well, but so be it. So first order of business is let's get the screens connected. I want to get these two batteries on and let them equalize because I saw a difference in voltage, so I expect there's going to be some balance current happening. Probably not a lot. I mean, we're talking like tenths of a volt difference. This one obviously won't turn on until I turn on the battery because I have it on the wrong side of the switch. So we'll watch this one for transfer current. Actually, I can connect my phone. 13.16 volt, this is 13.30 volt. So there's actually a fairly significant difference. Can you see everything? So let's turn on this battery first. And we should see voltage on the bus, meaning the servo should come alive. There comes the servo. Actually, I think this is the first time I've run the servo on 12 volts. Neat. Yep, 13.18 volts. Oh, that was upside down. There we go. Quattro's gone. We're gonna have to add the Multiplus. Okay, so let's go into the smart shunt and change it to 1120 amp hours. Battery state of charge on reset. It thinks it's currently 100%. Of course it's not. So that's all sorted. Let's connect the other battery now and see what we get in the way of transfer current. Minus 6.5, 9 amps. Okay, so we're seeing about 9 amps of balance. That's not too bad. This is going minus 8, minus 7. Yeah, there's a difference between the two. I wonder if the difference is what's being eaten up by the system here. Okay, let's connect the Multiplus. Where'd my screwdriver get to? So the first thing to do is use the resistor to pre-charge the capacitor. 9, 10. Yay, no sparks this time. That was nice. So this should be alive now. I have to remember how to connect it. I know I was configuring it with the Mark III cable. And I don't want to take this bottom plate off because it's really close to breaking. Now, this thing is technically energized and alive. Yeah, actually, before I connect this to the Victron, where is that cable? Found it. I don't think it matters which one of these I use. Another time off and on and not broken. One of these days my luck's gonna run out. All right, this is down to about 3 amps transfer current. Voltages are almost balanced. Go to Victron Connect, plug in, open Victron Connect for the MK3. Always yes. Retrieving data, can't connect, click for details. Make sure it's in the on or charge only position. Okay. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but this little red light that I was mentioning was on before. People were saying, it's up, there it is. It's a relay indicator. All right, so first things first, let's see if there's a firmware update. Enable settings, general, AC1 input current. Let's set this to We'll reset it to 30 when it's on the boat. For now, I can only set it to 15 because that's what this circuit is. Actually, there's no reason to do any of this until I do the firmware update. How do I do the firmware update? I don't know how to check for firmware updates. Okay, let's plug this into the servo. Is it the VE bus or the VE con? Or can, I can't remember. I think it's VE bus. Are you going to be detected? How do I get it to detect? All right, I don't remember how to tell it to scan for new devices. Settings? Do I have to delete the Quattro? No, it has to be able to support multiple of these devices because that's how you set up 2-phase and 3-phase. Why is it not seeing it? Let me cycle it back off and on again. Actually, I'll put it into the on mode. Okay, it still lists this as Quattro. Okay, I just noticed this is saying inverting. It's not the Quattro. It's confusing this as the Quattro when it's not the Quattro. Damn it. It sees the right voltage, 13.23. It sees AC is disconnected. AC line in, AC line out. Device. There it is, Multiplus compact. Okay, I need to rename this. I guess when I have both of them, it'll work better. Okay, that's good. Product ID, firmware version. Okay, is this where we can check for a firmware update? Or is this one just not firmware upgradable? Let me go to VRM portal and see if that sees a way to update the firmware. Firmware version 430. Let me go to their website. I'm going to try to figure out what the latest firmware for this thing is and how to update it, and I'll bring you right back once I have something to show. So I found the manual, and it has to be done using the cable. Having the curtain open kind of washes everything out now, doesn't it? Now it's less washed out. So I just found the manual, I just started reading it, and I brought you back so you could learn as I learn. Victron Connect comes with the most up-to-date versions of firmware already, so an internet connection is not required. So Victron Connect, settings, product info. Settings, product info. Ah, that's the one thing I didn't click. Okay. Update. Version 502. From 430 to 502. Resets everything to default settings. That's fine. And now we do nothing but wait. The biggest thing is to make sure it's programmed for lithium iron phosphate batteries. Can't connect. That's probably just because it's rebooting. Yep, there it is. Okay. So now that that's done, I'm going to turn off the camera and try to find the manual for this thing so I can make sure that the dip switches, yeah, they are dip switches, they're not jumper switch. Make sure the dip switches are in the right position. Found the manual. It's going to be more or less what I did when I was first testing it on the boat, but I don't remember the jumper settings from back then, so I'm rereading. And the reason I'm doing this is I know it would work with the dip switches where they are currently, but I want it to work off of the servo now that I've got access to it, so I want to see if there's a way to set it to be controlled remotely. Dip switch 1 and 2. Default settings are on-off charger only switch. This setting should also be used in setups with GX devices or VE bus smart dongles. And I do now have a Victron GX. This setting should be used in setup with a digital multi-control panel, which I don't have. Okay. 1 is off, 2 is on. 1 is off, 2 is on. Okay, so that should be how I want it. And dip switches 3 through 7, 3 and 4. What have I currently got? On, off. Oh, right, because I was setting this up for the gel battery on my boat. I definitely want to change this. I completely forgot that I was testing with a gel battery. Gel Victron. I want 3.65 times 4. Yeah, 14.4 is probably what I want. It would stop charging when the average cell voltage was 3.6, which is a bit higher than I want. But really, my only choices are 14.1 or 14.4. 14.1 divided by 4.
The answer is 3.525.
That, I think, is good. So, ironically, on-off is kind of what I want. It's not really gel at that point. Do I want to go to 14.4 volt? Do I want to rely on the BMS to stop the charging or the inverter charger to stop the charging? I think I will do... Yeah, because if I keep this low, the chance of the BMS is disconnecting go down. So yeah, I'm going to leave it at 14.1, which is 3 on, 4 off, which is exactly how it is. Okay, and then the rest, 5 is frequency, which going to be 60 hertz, so I want 5 to be off. It is. Everything else is off. Search mode is off and hard set to 30 amps. There you go. That is configured well enough for our needs. I am not going to plug in the Multiplus at this point because I don't want the batteries to be charged at this point. I want to play with the Renogy next. We've already played with this. We know that this works. I'm just going to take this to the boat. I may not even wire it in. I may just literally keep it on the boat as a fallback in case something happens to this. So this, we're done with. It's going to get put aside. So the last thing to figure out is the Renogy. Now, I wonder if I should do a video just on that. No, I think I will. I think I'll do a dedicated video for the Renogy because this is something I can see other people wanting to know about, and they may not find it if it's just part of the general video. So I haven't edited this yet. I haven't even actually edited the previous 2 videos yet. So I'm gonna put this back together, and with the exception of the Renogy, we're done. I'm ready to head back down to the boat. So I'm guessing this was a pretty short video. I'm the Digital Mermaid, and the 12-volt system is now configured and ready to go for the boat. You'll notice that I haven't set up solar. I'm not going to bother for this trip. I have no idea where I could even mount the solar panels. I'd have to take them off the roof. I'd have to figure out how to get them down to the boat. It's too much of a hassle. So the only charging I'm going to have is from the Renogy from the alternator or from the Multiplus from the shore power when I have it. Oh, still so much to do. I'm the Digital Mermaid. If you're enjoying what I'm doing here, and if you think others might get benefit from it, could I ask you to do the usual like and subscribe thing? I've been really struggling with the algorithm lately, and I'm guessing it's because I haven't played the YouTube games, so I begrudgingly start playing the YouTube games. So liking and subscribing, it does help with the algorithm, and I could really use a little boost right now. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. And I see DC power is minus 234 watts going into the batteries. It works when you set it up properly. That was entirely on me.